Back, America. We're here with our good friend, Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy, it's good to have you back on the eve of the inaugural. You've had a lot of influence in this incoming administration, I notice. You were very active as leader and then speaker in recruiting a number of the people that the president has recruited into his administration. In fact, there's so many I can't remember who they are. Who are they, as a matter of fact?
Well, if you think about it, back when we won the majority the first time in 2010, I was a recruitment chair. One of the stars at that time was Kristi Noem. And the only person from Washington she would let come into the district to campaign for her was me. Lee Zeldin, I remember Lee came to see me, and I told Lee, now is not the best time for you to run. I think you should first run for the State House. He was a little upset with me, but he did go run for the State Senate. And then I came back to him 4 years later and said, you need to run for the House now. And we picked up that seat. Sean Duffy in 2010, I remember he was running against the chairman of appropriations, the guy who had been here since 1969. And I'd tell Sean, let's go rent a 1969 car. This guy has been here before we landed on the moon. At the end of the day, when the election came, he wouldn't even run for re-election, and Duffy came in. And then you look, there's some really great guys that I've worked with for a long time. Howard Ludnick coming in at Commerce. Tulsi Gabbard, you won't understand this because he was a Democrat. She was a Democrat at the time. She and I would work out in the mornings together, and I attended her wedding. She is somebody I always thought we could pull over to the other side. And so you look at the VA, there's many places here that worked really closely with, but most importantly, I just spent some more time with President Trump, and I can't be more excited for this term. It's so historic. Only the second president to come back twice. I feel like it's a lot like Ronald Reagan. We're going to bring those hostages back. Never would have happened without President Trump winning. But really, what he has put together and to have the knowledge of what it takes, he will not waste one day.
You know, it's interesting from a historic perspective when you step away from it, and as more time goes on, we step away from it. I think this term is going to be so powerful.
Yep.
Because they are not consecutive terms. That is, he served for 4 years. He's had time to think about it. He has time to plan for it. He has time to prioritize what he wants to do and who he wants to do it. So he's had all that time to prepare. I don't think he was ever in doubt that he was going to run again. And he did, and he won in a landslide. So the wind is at his back. The American people want him to succeed. He's hitting the ground running. He's ready with executive orders. He's ready with his people. I mean, this to me looks like a pretty well-oiled machine. What does it look like to you?
That's exactly right. I remember sitting with him the first time he won, right? He hadn't done the job before. He wasn't elected before, so he'd listen to people, and sometimes they didn't give him the best advice. But you put a very good point. He's better prepared, that 10,000 hours. But you know what else is unique in this? The American public now sees the contrast between his policies and this progressive policies that sent us almost over the edge. Because you need not just a president that has a principle and a will to move us. You need the country to understand the differences. And having that difference in between those 4 years, I think is even going to make it more powerful. He's adding new people to the ticket. And what I love every day is those that opposed him that are now sitting there and saying, I'm going to change my business even because I've seen how far we have fallen. You know, this DEI, we're about to fall off the cliff. Now we're going to go back to the foundation that weaved the fabric that made America so strong that anybody can succeed, but it's on your merit. And you have an opportunity that way. Some common sense conservative can go a long way. And when America becomes stable, the rest of the world becomes safer. Now, I've been traveling the world talking to a lot of world leaders, and I will tell you this. They are just as excited as when you see to America that Donald Trump is reelected as president. It brings some stability, especially a pushback from that axis of evil that is trying to move around the world.
I think that's very well said. When we come back, Kevin McCarthy, I think Donald Trump has the opportunity, because of Donald Trump, to be one of the most consequential presidents in American history. This was a tipping point. He won the election, which was absolutely crucial, and he ran it running on substantive issues. He ran against the left, the party, the media, academia, and he defeated all of them. They're all on their backs. And I think the people are rallying to Donald Trump. They want him to succeed. I think this is going to be one of the most consequential presidencies in American history. Let's pursue that when we come back. We'll be right back.